Christians don't do life alone. We were created for community. Circles are better than rows. The primary function of the church is one anothering each other. These are all great things to say, and they're nicely formed words. But I want to read you a comment from yesterday's Devo because it so perfectly states what I want to say to you today. The comment is from one of our great church members, Dean. Dean, you're the man. He said the hardest part is putting action to all these words. So true. Christians hear the words, preach the words, and some even teach the words, but most of us don't practice what we preach. It's hard to do sometimes. We have to get our hands dirty, and sometimes it costs us money, and sometimes it costs us pain, is what I would add. Sometimes it costs us a little bit of being uncomfortable. Anytime you reach out and form a relationship, it's going to cost you something. He said, most of us aren't willing to go that far. Some of us just need to stop practicing and get in the game. If we see a need around us in our circles, we need to jump in and just do it. Couldn't have said it better myself, Dean. Sometimes, and I think specifically this is part of our DNA as our church family, is we are a little bit afraid sometimes to jump into relationships. I had a conversation just not too long ago about, I really do need to be in a circle group, but I'm afraid because I know I'm going to open myself up and I know I'm going to get wounded. And my response to that was, probably. Anytime you enter into a relationship, there is always a risk. You are risking that you will be disappointed. You are risking that you might get hurt. You are risking that things will go bad. All relationships have risk. But I would say the reward is worth the risk, because you just can't move away from and you can't avoid the fact that in the New Testament, everything that happens in the church, everything that happens around the life of Jesus, and then everything that we are commanded to do after Jesus left, centers around relationships, specifically close relationships with small groups of people who are growing and following Jesus. This was the whole model that Jesus demonstrated in being a rabbi and having disciples. He had a small group of people that followed him everywhere he went. We see this over and over in the life of Paul. Everywhere he went, he took a couple of people with him. They were his small circle, group, community, whatever you want to call it. Those were his people that he was doing life with. And Paul was even pretty transparent with us and showed us that there was one relationship that just totally cratered. It just went south, and that's how relationships sometimes work. But the risk is always, the reward is always worth the risk. So I just want to say to you today that if you don't have a circle group, if you don't have a community group, if you don't have a small group, I don't care what you call it, if you don't have a group of people, a small group of people that you can be one anothering with, you're missing out on a huge part of what it means to follow Jesus. And for some of us, we just have to jump in there, get in the game, stop saying we believe the Bible, and start doing it. We have to just start doing it. Right where you are today, you can form and start a group of people that are committed to each other, doing life together, moving forward, following Jesus together, and embracing the truth that Christians don't do life alone. They open up their hearts, they open up their lives, they open up their homes to each other so that they can one another each other, so that they can grow together. It's just part of the DNA of being a Jesus follower. There's no way to avoid it or deny it. The only thing you can do is embrace it and just do it. So thank you for that comment, Dean. Thank you for watching these videos. My prayer for you is that you would just do it, that you would be committed to not doing life alone.